Hi everyone. So this is the last real submission before the final red line document set. So you're just sort of tying off loose ends and sort of cleaning up your document and making sure it's legible for anybody who's going to be using it to build your building. So really the point of this is we're doing sort of identification of different things either for the plans and for the doc set. So for example, this is you're looking at the title sheet that sort of organizes everything and sort of gives everybody the drawing conventions and everything you really need to um, read this document correctly. Um, so this is pretty crucial in communicating to your subcontractor um, well and clearly. So make sure that this is well laid out and sort of representative of what you want to convey. Um, some of the major things in here that you want to make sure is that you have the sort of perspective drawing. So this is going to be sort of a pedestrian level drawing here. So, something shot from street level that shows the front of your building. So, something from kind of here, looking at it from pedestrian level view, not bird's eye view. So say you were standing in this parking spot here, something like that would work great. And then that takes up sort of large part of the top of your title sheet. Then there's the abbreviations. You'll see that I just have an arrow here for this and for this and for these two here. I want you to sort of complete those on your own as an exercise. So go through your document set and figure out all of the different abbreviations that you used and make sure that they're represented here and represented correctly. So you're going to take this. So for example, ACT, acoustic ceiling tile, bottom of footer, concrete masonry unit. It's a good one. Polyvinyl, right? So just do this all the way down and make sure that all of the abbreviations that you use throughout your entire document set are represented here. Next, you're going to have sort of drawing conventions. So you're going to represent door swings, door tags, etc. Same concept as before. You're going to go, I've represented one here, and you can sort of go down the list, checking these off and making sure that they're correct. If you have any different drawing conventions in your document set, please make sure they're noted here. Your document may be a little different from this one, so whatever extra or different style drawing conventions you would use, for example, you may not use this north arrow, you may use a different one, so change that. You may have an additional drawing convention that you may want to represent. Just make sure that they're all there, clean, neat, and labeled, right? So door tag here would be right next to door tag there. Next, we would have the site. You're going to make the site yourself. So you're going to pick the site location. You can really put it anywhere. Just make sure that you have sort of a site locator represented on here. And then finally, not finally, but finally for the site, make sure you design your site a little bit. Put the street it is on, put a little parking lot in the front, some foliage. Also, don't forget to sort of make walkways, some handicap spots, walkways all around, right? So you can get in this building multiple ways. And then you can sort of just call this 3-story office building here. It'll sort of correspond to this rendering up here. So that now we know where the building is located, how it's located on the site. Give it a little bit of a grade, right? So put a couple contour lines there. This is all up to you. You can make this look however you want it to look. And then make sure the building, by the way, the grade lines slope away from the building, not towards it. You don't want your foundations getting ruined immediately. And then, so the last parts up here, put a title, So name your building, pick a company you like, and then put the address, right? So put the title, put the address up here. So, it could be, oh gee, I don't know. What's a big company around here? Sort of Suzuki company headquarters, or, Tonawanda corporate office building, and then just put the title and address up there. Then material legends. Go through your document once again, same exercise as these two. I want you to do it yourself. You're going to go through and sort of find all the different representations. Some of you do use different stuff for different poche for each item. Make sure you go in and represent those here. So for example, brick, CMU here, may put CMU there, and just go all the way down with any sort of material legends that you use. And again, you're going to be doing this yourself as an exercise. And of course, sheet index, aka table of contents. So make sure that that is represented there. So A100 through whatever we have for the semester to the end. And now's a good time to sort of go through and make sure that this is all laid out correctly. So your logo here, your title and address. That's the worst T I've ever drawn. Title and address. And then down here, project number, CT document set 2, the date, drawn by you, checked by me, and then that these are all correct. Now's the time to do that. Then you can move on to the schedules. Make sure you have a door schedule, room finish schedule, and a window schedule. So you're going to go through all of these and sort of come up with your own. These should be pretty self-explanatory. You're all going to have roughly the same doors. Put them sort of like this. I'll show you how they look in an actual room on the next slide. But do, floor 1, 101, 102, 103, 104. That's usually how it's done in commercial buildings. In residential, you can just use 1, 2, and 3, etc. But just to be super specific, just use 101 and so on. So, first floor, second floor, third floor, make sure you have the widths and the heights. And yours may be a little different than this. You may be using a different size door, etc. Also, room finish schedule and window schedule. Window schedule works the same way, except you only really need one for each window. 1, 2, 3. I think there's 3 in the project, so that's it. Make sure that's there. And these are going to be sort of up to you, right? So you're going to have the name of the room number, and you're going to sort of call those out on your plans and on your sections as well. So make sure you name all of your rooms. And you're going to have corresponding finishes, right? Gypsum, all that kind of stuff. Wall boards, vinyl. So just make sure you have the room number, the name, base finish, what the floor is, the wall finish, the ceiling finish, and the square footage. So when you go through and name all these rooms, it's going to show up on your sections and your plans as well. So make sure, here's the room, overall, title, room number, so you can find it on your schedule. Then there's the doors here, here, and here, and the windows on the outside here. No leaders for these, please. Doors within the doors themselves. Makes it a lot easier to read. And of course, there's no window or doors on your sections, but please call out any rooms that are relevant, especially rooms that you are cutting through on your actual sections as well. So finally, make sure you go through and at the end and create a few renderings. I'm asking for 3. Just do an interior rendering, bird's eye view of the building from sort of like an axonometric angle of the whole thing with the site included, and then a similar pedestrian level rendering as is on your title page, sort of to close out the documents. You all should be able to do this just fine. Just make sure you pick at least one interior, one bird's eye, and one pedestrian level rendering. So, site schedules and renderings in general, you know, just keep in mind a schedule is sort of applied to construction working drawings. It's just a way to sort of present general notes, lists of materials, building components, doors, windows, equipment, and so on, in a tabulated format that's really easy for someone to use. The main purpose of sort of incorporating schedules is to provide clarity, so you don't have to kind of be reiterating yourself all the time. So clarity, location, sizing, materials, and information. All this saves time on the back end with your contractors, and the time you want to minimize the time that you spend coordinating them, and you want to spend more time designing and sort of getting into the nitty-gritty, because contractors can be very expensive. They keep drawings from being cluttered with too much printed information or notes on other sheets and consolidate them all onto one sheet, like this one, or the schedule sheet. And also, window and door schedules is sort of a plan for when these items can be sort of scheduled and installed. You know what sizes they are. And you could sort of rough out the openings as you're building them, and then order the windows however many you need all at once. So really it's just a time saving and reduces confusion, which is kind of been the entire point of the this project in this class so far. So complete these 3, and I will see you next week. Bye.